It's an amazing epiphany to realize that our brains record every second of our lives. And I like to think that what our brains are doing is they're threading this great tapestry called the story of our life, with every memory, every act of kindness, and every moment that makes us who we are. Neurology.com says, it reports that there is one new case every 4 seconds of Alzheimer's disease. The total number of new cases of dementia each year worldwide is nearly 7.7 million. The number of people with dementia is expected to increase to 75.6 million in 2030 and 135.5 million in 2050. Off quote, that's 50 million guaranteed for just Alzheimer's disease alone, not the other 3 forms of dementia. Alzheimer's is the most common and it's also the most quiet. What Alzheimer's does to that tapestry is it unthreads it relentlessly until there's nothing left. No memories, no sense of identity, no essence of self, no personality. And there's no cure. So, sorry to be doom and gloom, but there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease yet. But let's dive back first. In 1901, the German psychiatrist Alois Alzheimer took care of Auguste Dieter until she died. As she was his patient, he recorded in his journals some of her symptoms: disturbed sleeping, fragile memory, drastic mood changes, and increasing confusion. This disease is a very recent development in history, it seems. And this is the first place that it's found. This is believed to be its origin. The German psychiatrist performed her autopsy after she had passed, suspecting that there were irregularities within her brain structure. His hypothesis was correct. Inside of Dieter's inactive brain, Alzheimer found misfolded proteins or plaques and neurofibrillary tangles in the tissue. Together, the plaques or tangles work together to deconstruct the brain, and what he found was so much less than the mind. What the plaques did was they caused the immune reactions to be triggered, and our brain cells found themselves blocked off from their assigned destinations by these plaques. What the tangles did was they dissolved parts of the nervous system, obstructing nutrients from reaching the nerve cell. And these two things together, they created cell death. And it worked very slowly at first, but then it sped up. Because it starts out in the first stage, which is short-term memory loss. Skipping to the end, it gets to the control center of your brain where it can control your heart and your breathing. But before that, you stop eating and you stop sleeping. So when you die, your loved ones, they don't really know if you died from starvation or your heart went out. It's a miserable death. Again, there is no cure, and the scientific community understands little about this disease. But Professor Rudolph Tanzi states, eventually, if we don't do anything about the disease, if we don't wake up to see it for the threat that it is, Alzheimer's disease will single-handedly collapse our healthcare system. Economically, a disaster. And we have to wake up and do something about it. End quote. Now, while the recovery rate of Alzheimer's disease is currently at 0%, and yes, that is a depressing statistic, there is hope. There has never been more hope at finding a cure than in this generation and in this lifetime. Maybe even in 2025, Tanzi suspects. There's much reason to be optimistic about the future of stopping this disease. I swear I don't have COVID. I just need water. The Cure Alzheimer's Fund has a new theory that believes that if the plaques are attacked head-on before they create tangles and before cognitive symptoms arise, they will have discovered the cure for Alzheimer's disease. And until then, there are ways that you and I can help make a difference. If we get adequate rest, adequate nutrition, if we train our brains through cognitive tasks and other healthful behavioral changes. Maria Carrillo, PhD, Chief of Science Officer at the Alzheimer's Association, says this about these habitual changes. At a public health level, interventions based on this evidence could be extremely powerful in managing the global human and economic costs of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. So there is hope. It seems that we're on the horizon of finding a cure. The Cure Alzheimer's Fund has a plan. They have a new theory. They pointed out their failures and their mistakes of the scientific community, and they're learning from that. Doctors would only diagnose someone with Alzheimer's when the symptoms were shown, whereas other people with less expensive technology would find a tumor and they would attack it before symptoms arose, and they would beat it. And so that's the plan with Alzheimer's disease in the recent last 10 years. The costs have gone down for the equipment needed to do these things. And there is hope. There is hope. People are fighting for a cure. The disease invokes much fear, but let's remember the acts of kindness that this disease can't take away. It's a bold thing to say that we're close to a cure. So let's be bold. Let's be bold.